Hi there, welcome to a new video. It's 2024. It seems only a year ago since I made a video like this, and turns out, checking my notes, yep, it was about a year ago. So last year we did a bit of a video talking about things we wanted to get done that year, and let's see how well we did, shall we? So last year I set myself the goal of making a one shot, a 7-page story for Farm Press Comics, and some mini comics. So how well did we do? First up, the one shot. Did we get it done by July? No, no, we failed that one. We failed it for a good reason, but we have now finished that. That was finished probably about 4 weeks ago. So December, early December, we finished the one shot. So I'm happy about that. I'm not happy that it took like 6 months more than I anticipated, but there we go. Now, the reason it took 6 months more than anticipated was sort of February last year, I was commissioned to do some artwork for a children's book. It is January, a year later. I am still finishing off stuff for this book. Um, it's basically eaten the entire year for me. I managed to take a couple of months here and there to basically finish up Windbreaker and get that sort of done. I had about 2 months from the end of August. So from like August, September, October, sort of I had that period to sort of do some work, and then the art director came back with some, oh, can we change this? Can we change that? Can we change this? So this commission has been a long, laborious, and at times not fun brief. Um, but it's done. It's we're on the last leg of it now, so that's good. Um, yeah. Next up, we talked about making a 7-page story for Foreign Press, and we did that. It as part of their Comics in the Kitchen anthology, which crowdfunded on Zoop and successfully crowdfunded in November. Um, I'm anticipating the books to come out soon. I'm not sure when, um, but when I find out about that, I will let you know. Um, Finally, we talked about making mini comics. I only made one, and it was called A Noisy Noise, A Noise and Oyster. Um, it's a fun little story, and I had fun making it. But yeah, I say a lot of the year was eaten up with this commission. But having said all that, let's take a look at last year's stats, shall we? Okay, so here we are with our production chart for the year, and we can see all the projects that we've worked on. First up, we've got our Comics in the Kitchen. Done. Space Crash Issue 5, which is carried over from last year. Done. Here we've got a 3-page project that went to an online group. Done. This is Windbreaker, so this is all of the stuff done except for the inside cover here. See, it's not done yet. All the other pages done, and an inside cover, the back cover. There's a few notes for me to change. Some add a few bits, adjust the screen overlay here and there. So yeah, that's Windbreaker done. Here we've got the project that we did for DUI done. The Blobby anthology. This is an interesting one because this was originally written back in 2019. You see my mouse pointer there. It was resurrected. It's sort of been parked by Friesen Comics. They sort of parked it for a bit, and then earlier last year, they sort of announced that they were resurrecting it. And I sort of reached out to them and said, "Do you still want this story or not?" And they said, "Oh yes, please." So we did that. And here is just a whole bunch of comic jams pieces. These usually take about a week, 10 days, something like that. It's usually 1 page. Someone writes a script, I draw it. I often letter it myself, but sometimes other people want to do letters. This is Draw Lorraine. And what we haven't got in here is the artwork done for the kids' book. But let's have a look, shall we? Well, we produced 129 pages worth of comics, so that's all the little bits here and there. And we've published 100 pages. And if you think about it, 29 pages is going to be basically this, because none of this is published yet. So it's a strange one. Effectively, we've published 100 pages of comics, and we're gonna have to carry over Windbreaker into the next production chart, because then that's when we get it published. I've started putting the start and end dates on projects as well, so we know how long they last. So that's quite useful. So yeah, there we go. So there we go. There's our stats. We are basically making roughly 8 pages of comics a month. It's not even 0.16, roughly 16% of a page a week or thereabouts. And the main thing is we've punted out 100 pages, which is pretty consistent across the board. So if we look at, say, 2021, go down and look at that, we punted out 110 pages back in 2021. 2020, 71. So we're actually increasing. 2022, 106. So yeah, a good year for us is around about the 100 mark. So despite all the challenges and trials and tribulations that the year's brought, we have actually published a good amount of comics, i.e. 100 pages of comics, and we've produced up to 129. So there's got 29 unpublished pages. This is a good start for this year, because we could carry those 29 pages over, and we're off to the races. Right, well, that was 2023. So let's talk about what we want to plan for 2024, shall we? Well, first up, I want to kickstart Windbreaker. I want to get it done sort of first quarter this year. I want it in place and done. I've got a rough idea of how much we need to raise in terms of things like printing and packaging and roughly the postage, but that will need to be revised because the Royal Mail is always changing their pricing. So we'll just make sure we've got the best price for that, and we'll need to probably check how international orders work, because the pricing for that is just shocking. But it's always been the way. So anyway, yes, kickstart the book. Next up, DUI 3. I've had work in the last 2 DUI books, and I really love the community that's sprung up around making these anthologies for various good and charitable causes. So I really want to sort of get something written for that. Now that means I would have to write something, draw it, or write it and get someone else to draw it, or whatever, you know. But I want in on that. So we're definitely going to be doing some writing this year. This is going to be a quieter year with less production, because we've already got a production. It's Windbreaker. After that, we need to sort of work on the next thing, which, of course, is my next thing. I want to write the script or get the book ready for the next Eniekey Press book. We've got a few candidate ideas. I've got a historical book, sort of a period piece set in the 1600s, sort of dealing with things like the Great Fire of London and the plague and things like this. That's a contender. We've got an idea for an Arthurian legend type of thing, sort of knights and questing and things like this. That's quite an interesting one to look at. We've got an idea for a potential sort of, well, how can I describe it? A science fiction book with actual science in there. So you have a science fiction story with some an article or a piece about a scientific principle, and this would be geared around sort of key stage 2 science. So we're talking what is it going to be, 10, 11, something like that. That's something I'm looking into, and if that works, then happy days. We're developing that one right now, so that's in progress. And I'm got this idea for an experimental comic using sort of cut out bits of paper. So we're looking into that one. Yeah. What else? Well, last year, so last year I did Draw the Wing, and that was the first drawing challenge I've done for about 4 years. The last one was 2018, and that gave us Space Crash. So this was just straightforward: get a drawing out and get it onto socials. What was interesting was I was using ink for like the first time, proper ink, um, and that was something of a revelation. I really enjoyed working with ink. And I've been watching a lot of people who draw and paint with acrylic inks, and so part of me is wanting to do a art challenge using acrylic inks in a and documenting it in a similar way to how we've done Draw the Wing. But I'm thinking I want to sort of pace myself. I don't want to sort of do lots of things at once. I'd rather have get this project out of the way, get this project out of the way, get this project out of the way. So I'm thinking probably something like March. We might look at that. We March of the Robots, but it might be later on in the year because we've got a Kickstarter. So that's going to be the first priority. So it's basically Kickstarter first, then the drawing challenge, and we'll be doing some writing throughout all of that. And obviously the DUI 3, and I would like to sort of do some more short form comics, 4 or 5 pages on a standard page size that we could collate together to make like an anthology. So that could be the next book. So it's just lots of ideas percolating at the moment. So it's 2024. We've got a brand new production chart ready to go. Incidentally, if you want a production chart, link is down below. Download your own production chart. You can use it in the Google Drive, and it will track all of your stuff for you. Right, I have talked for far too long. Right, it is time to get this motor running. So join me next time for a different video. I'm not sure what it's going to be because we are doing all kinds of things right now, but it's probably going to be some drawing. I'll do some doodling in a sketchbook, sort of roughing out some ideas for some characters, and we'll take it from there. All right, here's the best for he's hoping that we have a great year, you guys. I really want to hear what your plans are. What are you planning to do? Are you writing? Are you drawing? Are you making that comic that you always wanted to make? Tell me about it because I want to know. All right. As usual, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one, all right? Take care. Right, bye then.